Karen, as you can see behind me, the protest is still going strong with more than 100 participants now present. We've had cameras here all afternoon and we've seen the gathering grow in size, starting at just dozens. This is in response to the death of Daniel Prude, who died in RPD custody after being arrested in March. While 21-year-old Nazir McFadden and 19-year-old Amir Starks were killed Thursday night outside a gas station on West Main Street. I spoke to the aunt of Nazir, who says he was a lover of many things. His loss is difficult to process. Now here at Hedonist, not only are all the chocolates made by hand, but check this out. Every Valentine's Day, they come out with a special line of chocolate with customized art right on the chocolate. Well, East River Street here behind me is blocked off with Waterloo PD, the Seneca County Sheriff's Office, and New York State Police on scene. There's a White House to my left taped off with investigators inside and outside taking pictures. All we know right now is that authorities are investigating a suspicious death. I'm Andrew Freeman here on Monroe Avenue in Rochester, where several business owners are boarding up their businesses in the event of a second night of more violent protests here in the city. Andrew Bacchetto, the owner of Turcott's Tap Room, says he's just being cautious.
More preventative than anything else. We just don't want to have to do it, but it's better than cleaning up after everything's broken.
He's the first in a line of businesses around Monroe Ave boarding up.
It's not what we anticipated when we went into this.
For bars like his, they've already been closed due to COVID-19.
Open 1 day a week for deliveries and or for pickup, and we got to spend money on making sure people don't break everything down.
Fidelio Rita, the owner of Nino's Gourmet Mexican Street Food, is just trying to look out for his employees.
We try to support families, like people need to bring money for kids and wife, that's why it's very important for us to keep this business safe.
Others like Jennifer Plunkett of Aaron's Alley just opened Saturday for the first time in weeks.
It is a hurt that all of a sudden we open up, we're ready to go. We were busy yesterday, busy today, and now we got to stop.
As it's the city she loves, Plunkett is naturally concerned. But she says the behavior she's seeing isn't Rochester.
I think that the people that are causing problems are not part of our community. They're just people causing a little bit of havoc, and then other people who are struggling and angry, maybe they jump in, but it's not, this is not a representation of our city.
In Rochester, Andrew Freeman, Spectrum News. Veneto Wood-Fired Pizza and Pasta has been under Don Swords' ownership for 3 years, and his favorite part of the business is the customers.
We get a unique blend of customers when we're up normal, without COVID, going to the theater, and that might be the little theater, that might be a rock concert next door.
But he hasn't gotten to see many customers this year, especially now that his restaurant is back to takeout only due to orange zone restrictions. But his issue with the restrictions goes beyond his customers.
The restrictions have hurt us terribly. We've, here at the holidays, have let 75% of my staff furlough.
Which is why he's joining in on a lawsuit with other New York State restaurants to force Governor Cuomo to get businesses like his back open. New York State released data earlier this month showing restaurants and bars accounted for less than 1.5% of COVID-19 spread in the state.
To keep us shut down, to keep our employees not working with a 1.4% rate of catching COVID, it's just not right.
He hopes the lawsuit will lead to some kind of compromise or other solution to get both his customers and employees back in his restaurant.
We'd be thrilled with the 50% how it was, and following the CDC guidelines and the 6 feet and the rigorous cleaning and all that. We would be more than happy, as a compromise for that.
And he says Governor Cuomo is welcome to his restaurant anytime, too. In Rochester, Andrew Freeman, Spectrum News. For 17-year-old Ray Diamond, sewing is pretty meditative.
It's really relaxing, and my grandma, when my mom was younger, my mom used to do it with my grandma, so it kind of makes me feel like I'm connected to her.
But right now, she's sewing with a purpose. Sewing hearts onto washcloths for the Creativity Shell's Hearts for a Fresh Start campaign, which donates the washcloths to shelters for survivors of human trafficking.
The hearts represent kind of that we're connected to them and that we appreciate them and that they're not in this alone and that we are here to help them.
The Creativity Shell is a nonprofit that teaches young people and those in shelters how to cook, sew, and use other textile arts.
It gives their children a skill that is something no one can ever take away from them.
Founder and director Shalancia Daniel says the campaign started in 2018 to raise awareness for human trafficking. Not only does it help victims of trafficking, but it also starts a conversation with the Creativity Shell students, hopefully making them more mindful.
We have a misconception that children are being abducted from their homes and they're being trafficked, but most of the times they're being trafficked by people they know.
It's a difficult conversation, but Ray says it's an important one.
It can be people that are the closest to you and that it can really happen to anybody. It's just, it's sad, but it's also something that we need to bring awareness to because not a lot of people my age know about what's going on.
And she hopes the labor of love can be felt through their washcloths.
I also hope that they help people recognize that you matter and that your voice matters and everything about you is important and that they're beautiful and that no one can take their light away from them.
The goal is 5,000 washcloths by Valentine's Day, and the community is invited to help by visiting creativitysshellrock.org. In Webster, Andrew Freeman, Spectrum News.
4, open your feet and close.
I'm Andrew Freeman, and while martial arts studios aren't considered essential while New York is on pause, for many, that's not the case.
For the discipline and the self-control, I mean, they really rely on that.
For the Jones family of Pittsford, it started with just the kids, and then everyone got involved.
I said, yeah, I want to do it. And at that point, she was like, well, I guess I won't be the only one.
Right, they pressured me
doing it. So.
But instead of keeping up their training at school, they're doing it from their own home.
There's really a small space to do it, and we have to separate us in groups of 2.
The Agape Black Belt Center has continued bringing Taekwondo training to its students via Zoom every day, from calisthenics and self-defense to discipline.
It's weird because we're not doing it in person, but the students have been doing awesome. We've been doing our best to keep everyone motivated and still engaging with them as much as we can through the camera. Instructor Haley Raw is glad to be able to continue teaching. Especially now with everyone staying at home, it's been awesome that we've been able to take our program to them through virtual classes and keeping them still active even though they're in quarantine. And for the Jones family, they appreciate the sense of normalcy.
We're always like, what day is it? Oh my gosh, is it Monday? Is it Friday? Nobody knows. And so to have something different in the day that's not just the 6 of us, in the house together, it's been pretty cool.
Agape encourages people to give their virtual classes a try by checking out their website agapebbc.com. In Pittsford, Andrew Freeman.
Goodbye, students.
Spectrum News.
Good job today.
It was a military funeral with full honors. The event drawing out a crowd worthy of the occasion.
I'm just overcome with the compassion that has been extended our family.
As Sergeant Howard Frederick Gotts was laid to rest next to his parents and brother at the St. Hill Cemetery.
Really making sure everything honors Howard how he should be as a not only a member of the military, but a member who was killed serving his country.
The day was full of dignity and respect. But his niece Joyce Richardson described the event as a celebration.
This is a homecoming of a family member that had been long thought lost.
See, Sergeant Gotts finally returned home after 76 years.
It's like I'm in a dream and I haven't woke up. I still can't believe the news that I received 9 weeks ago.
Sergeant Gotts was a World War II radio operator whose plane went down during a bombing operation over Romania in 1943. He was long thought to be missing in action.
The story was that he was burned up in a flaming bomber. So I don't ever expect remains of somebody burning up in a plane to ever be found.
But they were found dug up in Belgium and identified thanks to DNA earlier this year.
I could tell it was my grandmother. She was relieved, and, you know, she would have loved to have been here for this day.
His great-grandnephew Brian Kent helped organize the funeral. He followed in Gotz's footsteps by joining the Army. He says thanks to Gotz's legacy, he was gone, but never forgotten.
It's definitely overwhelming, especially knowing that I think only one person here actually knew my great-granduncle in person. So everyone else here is either extended family or people who didn't know him, but are coming to honor his sacrifice.
Everyone there to finally say, welcome home.
It is a celebration where we're all home now.
In Stanley, Andrew Freeman, Spectrum News.